one Sunday morning, I got up really early to go cheer on a friend of mine that was running the Carlsbad Marathon. And as the line of people went by, the elite runners, the everyday average Joes, and then there's this lady that came by blind with her walking stick. And I was like, she can do this. I can do this.
You are listening to the No Gimmicks, Just Sweat podcast with your host, Eric Logan. No Gimmicks, Just Sweat is dedicated to hearing the journeys and unique stories behind an athlete's training and what drives them. Get inspired to own your life and make the impossible possible. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Also, please take a few seconds to rate the show and drop me a review. Now, let's get started with the show.
Welcome to No Gimmicks, Just Sweat, and today we welcome Jeffery Heard to the show. Jeffrey, how you doing?
I am doing well, Eric. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful, trying to stay cool down here in Georgia.
Yeah, I think that's all of us right now. It's warm.
Again, thank you for coming on to the show.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, so as with every show, we kind of start with a couple of icebreaker questions so that the listeners get to know you a little bit better. And as always, I always learn something new, from these questions as well. So are you ready?
All right. I am ready. Let's go.
All right. Morning runs or evening runs?
Oh, morning runs. Got to get it done before the day starts.
See, there you go. See, that's why I like you.
Got to get it done.
Solo runs or group runs?
I prefer solo runs, but I do run with groups occasionally, but my preference is solo runs.
Okay. Run on a treadmill or run outside?
Oh, God, no treadmill. Run outside. Run outside.
No treadmill at all?
If I have to. We don't get a lot of weather here in San Diego, so I am blessed that way.
All right. Trail runs or road runs?
Road runs.
All right. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Favorite race distance to run?
Oh, I'm teetering between the 10K and the 5K.
Okay. All right. First thing you do after a race?
Eat.
All right.
Usually something sweet.
Oh, okay. Anything particular that you run to?
Typically cupcakes. There's a nice little cupcake shop close by that I love, and they have a red velvet cupcake that's made the right way. And you being a Southerner, not everybody can make a red velvet cake the way it should be.
No. All right. Dream race run that you want to run?
Boston, of course.
Of course. All right. If you can go on a run with any celebrity or athlete, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I think I would have to go back and go with Jesse Owens because
okay.
The greatest.
The great. Well, I don't know. Kipchoge might have something to say about that.
Well, Jesse Owens had a lot more to deal with than Kipchoge.
Exactly. All right, last one. Dream location anywhere in the world that you want to go for a run.
Okay, so I have actually ran there. I was in Switzerland, and Lucerne, Switzerland, and the hotel that we were staying in was on a lake, and I got to run around that, and it was beautiful. It was elevation, and I wasn't prepared for it, but it was beautiful.
Well, so you've already ran there, so there's got to be somewhere else you want to run.
Where haven't I run? Actually, I would say either Costa Rica.
Oh, okay.
or Spain.
Okay, both good choices. Both good choices. All right. All right. So this is the part where you kind of tell everyone what's your story. And, I always kind of break it down, think of yourself as a superhero. And what's your origin story? How did you get to become the runner, the athlete that you are today?
Okay. Well, my running story actually started, I didn't run in high school. I didn't run in college. But I ran occasionally just for help. But in my mid to late 20s, I started amateur boxing.
Oh, okay.
And everyone would warm up either jumping rope or shadow boxing. But I always, again, here we go. I jumped on the treadmill because it was running and it was what I was used to. So I did that for a few years, and I kind of aged out of being able to wear headgear and the heavier gloves. And I wanted to protect my mental and my physical well-being, not to mention appearance and getting hit. So I stopped that amateur boxing, and to be able to keep in shape and fight off the family medical histories like high blood pressure, diabetes, I slowly started running, and just on my own, no races or anything like that. Just the typical weekend warrior, doing a couple miles here, a couple miles there. And one Sunday morning, I got up really early to go cheer on a friend of mine that was running the Carlsbad Marathon. And as the line of people went by, the elite runners, the everyday average Joes, and then there's this lady that came by blind with her walking stick. And I was like, she can do this. I can do this. So, yeah. So that, I think it was October. Well, Carlsbad is in January, and I signed up to run one of the Disney half marathons that October. So okay. I ran that. I was chatting with some people in the corrals, you know how that is, and it was my first, and there was this other runner. It was her first, and we decided we're going to run together because she was terrified and she didn't want to run. So yeah, that was my absolute slowest race. It took me 2 hours and 45 minutes to complete that, but it was through Disney. You can't complain. And we got to run through, I think it was Anaheim Stadium. So it was great. So yeah, so that sparked my racing. And throughout the years, I've tried to do at least 3 halves a year and then a race every month.
Okay.
Just to keep it up. So running started to be that gateway to keep me healthy, keep off the high blood pressure, the diabetes. But the pandemic hit, and here we are, and it became my self-care, my escape from what's going on in the world. So it brought that mental health aspect to the running as well. So that's how the racing started. It wasn't until my younger brother passed away back in 2014. He was 26, living in Phoenix, and he passed away suddenly. And to celebrate what would have been his 26th birthday that January, I ran the Phoenix, Arizona Rock and Roll Marathon, 26 miles for his 26 years. So that experience was, I guess, my grieving process for that, because that training was my time with him, Josh, and then being in Phoenix where he was for the race, and to be actually greeted by some of the Black Men Run group as I entered. So I kind of brought the community aspect to it. So yeah. So my running is for my health, both physically and mentally. So
okay,
yeah, that's me.
That's actually a great way to honor your brother. You know, and you know, and it kind of, I think it took your mind off of things a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it gave me that alone time where
right.
it was just that my running was my conversation with him.
Yes, I can see that. Yes. All right, so you're in San Diego, correct?
Correct.
So your running's pretty much been primarily on the West Coast.
Yes. When I go home for the holiday back to Georgia, I do run when I'm there around Lake Hartwell. I have gone to Europe. I did a run in Paris.
Oh, okay.
Again in Lucerne. I actually did a race while I was there. I visited some friends that were on embassy duty in Slovakia. They were in Bratislava, and I did a race there in Bratislava while I was over there. It was a weird race. It was a 4-mile race, and it started in a park that went up a single track wooded area through an open field along the streets by the Danube, crossing over the Danube, up stairs to a castle.
Yeah.
Like it was all types of terrain. So that was very weird for me, but an awesome experience.
It keep you on your toes.
Yeah, because number one, I didn't understand anything that was going on other than follow everyone else because didn't speak the language, and being out of sorts with the different terrain. I was like, yeah, definitely kept me on my toes.
All right, so how would you compare running, you know, in San Diego versus running in Georgia? Because you know, Georgia, we have the hills here.
Yeah, and I try to stay away from them. That's why I run around Lake Hartwell, because it is a paved course around the lake, and it's flat, and it's open. And if I'm home during the summer, it's a nice little breeze coming off the lake.
Come on, Georgia,
but here,
heat and humidity. Come on now.
Yeah, but here in San Diego, there's hills. We can't. Pretty much every run, unless I do the trail that I normally run on, it's hills. And every Saturday or Sunday, I actually run up what most people would call a mountain, but it's a big hill, just to get some hill training in. Even though I hate it, I know it.
You hate it, but you know it's needed.
Exactly, the necessary evil.
So, what does a week of training look like for you? What is your weekly training schedule?
So right now I am transitioning into from 5K training to half marathon training. So it would be Monday's my off day. I don't do anything on Monday, just my normal stretching, yoga. And then Tuesday I would do a run. Nothing too long, anything just to keep getting the legs going. And then Wednesday would be some type of strength training. Thursday would be a run. Friday would be what I call my therapy run with my friend. Since the pandemic, we just get together every Friday and do a run just to de-stress. And then Saturday would be my hill training day, and then Sunday would be my long run day.
Okay. And are you self coached, or do you have a coach?
I am self-coached, if you
Okay.
want to call it that.
Well, I mean that sounds very, you got everything together the way it sounds,
Yeah.
So so that's why I was kind of wondering, do you have a coach? But it sounds like you've done your research, you've done your
Yep.
homework.
Yep. Been doing it for a little bit, so and I don't want to get hurt. So.
So have you had any major injuries since you've been running?
No. Knock on wood.
Yeah. Knock on wood. So I don't want to jinx you. You go out tomorrow and all of a sudden, you like it's Eric's fault. He jinxed me.
Yeah. So yeah, just to combat that, I started working with a team of what are prehab. They're called prehab. So they work with runners to before anything happens to treat to make it so you can continue running injury free. So I've been doing that for a few months now. So they're correcting a lot of stuff and making me a better, stronger runner. So
Okay. All right. So how do you feel, before, during, and after, your training runs, and even after a race?
So nutrition is my Achilles heel. I am not a big eater to begin with, so it's a struggle for me.
Unless it's red velvet cake.
Well, that's a different story. Me and my sweets. But that doesn't work, translate so well when you're running. So yeah, I typically before a run, if it's a long run, I try to fuel up the night before. And then in the morning, typically I wake up and have water, and then I have Amazing Grass. I don't know if you know the brand, but it's like a super green superfood. So I have one of those. And
what's the name of it again?
Amazing Grass.
Never heard of that. Interesting.
So yeah, it's been working out well for me. So I do their energy, and then on my way to the run, I have an apple or some sort of fruit and a Huma gel.
Okay. And of course, after your race, you like that cupcake and that red velvet cook.
Yeah.
Coke.
So typically after the race, because I'm lactose intolerant, so I have to be careful about all the different supplements and the drinks, the protein drinks,
Okay. Right.
because my stomach can't handle it. So, so I have Evolve their protein shake.
Okay.
And then typically that's once I get back to the car, and then I have just a regular Amazing Grass superfood, no energy on that one.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about shoes. There's a particular brand of shoes that you wear.
Ultra.
All right. They're with the Altra. So how do you like those? Because you really don't hear much about Altra.
No. I found them a few years ago. And when I found them, I was dealing with shin splints. And I tried them on. I ran them for a while, and all of a sudden I noticed they were gone, the shin splints. So that wide toe box,
right,
foot-shaped toe box, I should say, that was ideal for me. And I love them, and now I'm an ambassador for them, so just can't complain. So yeah, they have.
I was going to say that you like.
Yes, so that's what I was getting ready to say.
Oh, okay.
I started out in their Taurans, It's their middle cushion shoe, and slowly transitioned to their Escalante, which is a little bit less cushion, more of the for racing. But I found I like them both, and they recently came out with a carbon shoe as well for racing, which
really? Okay.
Yep. So I have a pair of those as well, and yeah, they are fast. I like it.
At this point now, everybody has at least one pair of carbon shoe, even if it's
Yes.
more out of curiosity.
Yep. So yeah, I've been waiting because Nikes don't work for me because they're way too thin, narrow.
See, it's not just me. That's why I tell people think, you just don't use Nike. I'm like, no, I've tried Nike. They just don't work for me.
Yeah. So yeah, that talk about foot pain when I run in Nike. No, I can't do it. But the Ultra, yeah, so it's a little bit more narrow than your normal shoe, just for the racing aspect of it. But it still has that wider toe box.
Okay.
And they're super light, super responsive, and like I said, fast.
Okay. So if you were trying to convince me or convince anyone else, about that shoe, how would you do it?
For me, it's my story about my shin splints. Your foot needs room to breathe. It's not natural to be cramped up inside of a shoe. So Ultra has a wide range of products that you can choose from that are comparable to a lot of different brands that are out there. And you get that wider toe box that will alleviate a lot of your foot and leg pain.
Okay. Good to know. I'm a Hoka guy. I'm a Hoka guy. And just like you went and found the Ultras, for your shin splint, that's what it was with me with Hoka. I had tried every shoe I could, and it didn't help. But then I just tried a Hoka, and I was like, whoa, no more pain, no more shin split.
Mm-hmm.
So it is going to be different for everyone. So it's just a matter of finding the one that goes for you, that works for you.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, it may get a little expensive trying different shoes.
Well, that's one thing about running.
Yeah, running can get a little expensive.
Yes,
but
that
with the
is
shoes.
for sure. That is for sure.
All right, so this is kind of going to be a two-part question here. Your proudest moment as a runner and your worst moment or biggest mistake as a runner.
I'll start with the biggest mistake because it recently happened.
Okay.
It was for a race Old Pros 10K on July 4th. Newer shoes I was wearing, and the race started. My shoe came untied. I had to stop. I start running again. My shoe came untied. 4 times this happened to me.
See, lock laces, that's why you.
So yeah, that was, yeah.
But you didn't fall.
I didn't fall. That's why I stopped to tie my shoe, because I didn't want to fall. But it was my mistake. I didn't do speed work in the shoes to test them.
Oh, okay.
I ran in them, but I guess I didn't run fast enough to late race. And yeah, there it was.
Well, I thought you were going to say that, you took them out the box, put them on, and ran in a race. I was going to pick on you then. No. Way too old to do that. Yeah, I was going to pick on you. Yeah.
Way too old for that. Yeah. So yeah, that's my worst. My proudest would be finishing that marathon in memory of my brother.
Okay.
That was a hard fought race because when I signed up for it, not understanding the full scope of marathon training and the amount of time that it took. So I kind of crammed a little bit for it.
Mm-hmm.
And just the reason why I was doing it compounded with crossing that finish line after running 26.2 miles was definitely my proudest moment.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, knowing what you know now, as a runner, if you could go back in time to a time, in a time machine, what would you go back and tell yourself?
It'll be okay. You don't have to figure everything out right now.
Okay.
It'll all come together.
Okay. Good advice. All right. So, I'm an older runner. You're an older runner. Not that we're old. We're just older.
Yes, correct.
Right. So, what would your message to people who are our age or maybe, a couple of years younger, what would your message be to them that, to kind of inspire them or get them out to, just to try running? Because, a lot of times you hear that, oh, it's too late for me to start running, so how would you convince someone that it's not too late?
So my thing is when people think about running, they think of the elite runners.
Right.
And I paint the picture of no, that's not the case. Again, you can't judge your experience by someone else's. So if you have to walk first, that's fine. That's your journey. You have to run on your own journey, if you will. You can't compare yourself to everyone else. You're not going to be an elite runner, and you have to be okay with that.
Okay.
I'm not going to be an elite runner. I'm okay with it, and I still run pretty much every day.
Exactly. As I was telling someone a few weeks ago, I was like, I run, I enjoy it, I enjoy racing, but at the end of the day, I don't get a paycheck from it.
Right.
So I do it for fun.
Right. And my paycheck is the health benefits.
Exactly. My paycheck is that low blood pressure and not having to, as the old folks say, not having sugar.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about your sugars. And not only that physical part of it, the mental part of it.
And for people listening, when you hear someone say got the sugar, that is old slang for diabetes. And you're from Georgia too, so you know what I'm talking about.
I know.
All right. So what is a non-running fact about you that most people don't know?
That in '96, I actually volunteered for the Olympics in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't at any of the major venues, but I was down the block escorting people on and off the bus by Centennial Park.
Okay. Nice. That sounds like fun. Maybe I'm kind of exaggerating or stretching it a bit.
I had fun up until the bomb, and then I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm through volunteering.
Yep, it's been fun.
All right, so what's next for you? You got anything you're training for and get ready for any races coming up?
Yes, I am. Well, actually, I was supposed to do a duathlon Sunday, but I haven't been on my bike in over a year, so I was like, I am not going to kill myself trying to do a duathlon. I will wait. So my next race big race is going to be a Long Beach half. I've been doing that race for quite a few years now, and last year I officially became an ambassador for that race. So,
okay,
yeah, cool. So I am looking forward.
Cool.
And if anyone wants to sign up for it, you can get 10% off using my discount code. Shameless plug.
Plug it.
And you just use my first name, Jeffery, and it'll get you 10% off.
Yep, plug it. I'll put it in the notes as well.
Okay.
All right, and feel free, to come over to the dark side with us, duathletes and stuff.
Well, before the pandemic, I did a series, and I actually came out pretty good. I actually podiumed for my age group. But the pandemic hit, and they're just starting to come back. I kind of neglected the bike, so I need to get my legs back in run mode.
Well, we'll welcome you back.
I want to get to your status where you're competing. What, nationals? Didn't you?
Yes.
Yep.
That is an amazing.
I gotta get some speed. Gotta get some speed on the bike.
You'd be surprised a lot of people do it also just for the experience.
Yeah.
There are people who are there that, like, you know what, I'm not gonna win. I'm just here to enjoy it and meet folks.
Yeah. It's on my list. It's on my list.
Awesome. All right. Any last words you want to share with the listeners?
Nope. Get out there, run, clear your mind. Just run to be happy.
Yep. Running makes you happy. I just feel so much joy after running, even when I'm mad.
Like I said, it's that mental health aspect of it. It's people.
The sunshine, the fresh air.
Yep. If non-runners out there listening, try it.
Yep. Try it. All right, Jeffery, thank you for being a guest on the show. I really appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And it was an experience. My first podcast. So thanks.
So, Jeffery, if people want to get in contact with you, how can they do so?
Socials. I have Instagram. I have Instagram and Twitter. I'm not on Twitter pretty much ever. But you can follow me at Run Jeffery Run, and that's Run Jeffery Run.
Awesome, Jeffery. Again, thanks for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Eric.
All right, you take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the No Gimmicks, Just Sweat podcast. We really appreciate everyone who tunes in each week. If you enjoyed today's show, please support us by subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember to tell your friends about the No Gimmicks, Just Sweat podcast, so we can continue to have awesome conversations with everyday athletes just like you. Until next time, have an amazing week.